All right, I'm here with Alchemy Resources, and we're going to discuss a few things about the current economic state. My first question to you is, how do we prepare our youth for the future?
Well, that's a big question. That's a big question because since late 2007, 2008, the landscape looks so different. So what people may have thought was a path to success before may seem more confusing and more choppy now. One thing that people have to focus on is that skills do not secure jobs. So the pathway of going back to school, whether it be traditional schooling or vocational schooling, the idea that getting a degree in and of itself will secure a job is not true. And that is the first thing that people have to get a handle on. Then for those people who do decide to get a degree, they then have to really make an assessment of what's the best market, what's the best area to take the degree in so that they can look at long-term prospects of employment. And it's a big concern right now because since this, if you want to term it, Great Recession or the 2008 downturn, since the 2008 downturn, the statistics around unemployment have been incredible. There are approximately 90 million working-age Americans that are not in the labor force. And then according to how they may count unemployment, which of course different outlets count unemployment numbers in different ways, but there may be approximately another 12 million working-age Americans that are officially unemployed. So if you add that together, you're looking at 101 million working-age Americans that do not have a job. You want to keep in mind that this country only has 310 million citizens. Out of the 310 million citizens, there are 101 million who do not have a job.
And that 300 million, those are adults?
The 310 million is everybody, the babies, the senior citizens, all of us. There are 310 million American people. And there are 101 million working-age Americans that do not have a job. But if you want to look at the working age that do not have a job and take it out of a total, you're looking at just under 1 out of 3. And that is a really big number for people to digest as they consider what they might advise someone in high school or college to do so as to have a financially stable or successful future. There are other statistics, and I don't have them exactly, and they've also been reported differently depending on which news outlet they've come from. But there are other statistics around college graduates and the employment of college graduates. How many of them are actually able to get jobs, which is a number that right now is very low. And then how many of them that do get jobs that actually require a college degree, meaning that the job they got is a job they couldn't have gotten if they hadn't gone to college. And unfortunately, there's a high number of college graduates who are going through college, coming out with a job that pays around minimum wage, or a job that didn't necessarily require the college degree. And then that sets them up to not be financially independent, meaning the model that you're 21 years old, you graduate from college, and you are now going to get an apartment or live independently, that has broken because so many of them now will go to college, but then they are going to have to, if they're lucky, go home, return home to family, if they're lucky enough to have family to go home to, return home to family to live, because the job that they have doesn't pay enough for them to live independently, or they didn't get a job at all. So, what I might suggest for youth and those people who are advising youth is first, get a handle on all that information so that people can, being equipped with that information, make an assessment of whether or not college is for them, and then if it is for them, what discipline in college makes sense for them. Then I would have them really look at what I would call the larger trends. What jobs, what industries, where is their investment capital going so that 5-10 years from now I would be working in a certain area. And then, of course, for many of them, it might be desirable to look abroad. And then, of course, you know this. There are many youth, American youth, who are abroad teaching English as a second language.
Right.
And they're teaching it in China, and they're teaching it in other countries. So maybe even in other industries, they will have to look abroad to consider employment.
Yeah, but isn't there a competition even there?
The competition is all over, and it's constant. The competition is global. So even if you're sitting right here in the United States and you've decided you want to work in an area, marketing or sales or any other area, you are still competing with people who are in China and India, Malaysia, and everywhere else. Because to a large business, maybe that work has to be done in the United States. Maybe it can be spliced, and some of it's done in the United States, and some of it's done abroad. Maybe the long-term plan is that none of it be done in the United States, and all of it be moved abroad.
Oh, thank you for that. That's very insightful. And I understand that you have placed a book, and where can we find that book again?
I've written Purchasing Power on the Financial Cliff. And Purchasing Power on the Financial Cliff is a book that talks just about that. What has happened to Americans' purchasing power, meaning the ability to afford their lifestyles. And it explores government policy, it explores banking financial policy, and it explores American lifestyle and behavior. And the book can be found at the website www.informativeoutlook.com. Again, that's www.informativeoutlook.com. Along with the ability to purchase the book, when you get to the website, you'll see other articles that have been written so as to provide illumination about the economy.
Fantastic. We always like having you, and thank you.